We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Throws toward the corner of the end zone. It is intercepted! Intercepted! The Ducks have the ball!
To the end zone! Oregon! Mariota dives! Touchdown! They hand it off straight out! C.J. Verdell wins the game for Oregon!
Inside the 10! A hat-trick, a touchdown from Justin Herbert! Howard's going to run for it. Time runs out, and that'll do it! Welcome to the Big Ten, Oregon! They storm the field at Upson!
Welcome, Duck fans, into another episode of the Ducks Rising Alumni Corner presented by Backer and Water Ave Coffee. I'm your host, Travis Rooke-Ley, and excited to be joined by former Oregon defensive lineman Jordon Scott. Jordan, good to have you here.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to be here.
I know you're heading out to Eugene. It sounds like tomorrow. You excited to get back into town?
Yes, sir. I've been hearing they upgraded the town a lot. Chick-fil-A in and out. So I'm ready to get back, man.
I love it. Well, I think it makes sense to kind of go chronologically a little bit throughout here. So obviously a Florida kid coming out to Oregon. Like, what was your recruitment like, and what eventually made you make the jump to come all the way out to Eugene?
It's funny. I was just talking to Dimitri about it last night. He came in with me the same year that Taggart took over. Basically, Coach Levitt, he was at Colorado, and he would come to my school every year, and he'd be like, I know you're not going to come to Colorado, but I'd love to coach you. And I was committed to Florida for a full year, and then I was assigned an early signing period, so towards the beginning of December, they told me that I wasn't going to be able to come there anymore. They ended up taking a 5-star dude over me. So my recruitment opened back up real late, but it just so happened to coincide the same time Taggart and Levitt took over at Oregon. And I knew Taggart from taking a visit to USF, and Levitt, him and my high school coach were real close. So I just said, and I always wanted to go to Oregon. Obviously, Florida was my first dream school, but I never thought I would get an Oregon offer. So once I got it, I just committed on the spot.
What was it about Oregon that you just grew up watching them play, or playing them in NCAA video game, or like what was it about them that stood out?
At the time, this is the peak of LaMichael James, DeAnthony Thomas, DeForest Buckner, Armstead, the jerseys, Mariota, so as a kid, playing Little League, I just was like, man, I love the jerseys. They win. And then, I didn't even know about our facilities and stuff, but I knew that, they had cool shoes, and everybody always hated Oregon. So it was like, I love the team. And then when they beat Florida State, I remember where I was at. I was at Wing House with a bunch of my high school teammates, and they beat Florida State when Jameis threw the backwards pick to, I forgot his name.
Tony Washington.
Yep, Tony Washington. So since then, I've really been a huge fan. And when Taggart got the job, I just was like, I'll commit on the spot. So
you committed without having ever been to Eugene?
No, I've never been to Eugene, never been to Oregon, never been to the West Coast. So
what was that? How long after committing was your first visit? Was it just when you showed up for
Yeah, no,
school?
I never took a visit. I committed on my birthday, which is Christmas. And then I was enrolled on the 7th of January, so there was no visit. I just showed up. My first day was running sprints at the Mo. So,
what was, I got to imagine, I don't even need to imagine. I grew up in Florida. I grew up in Miami, and then was raised in Eugene. So I know those places are very, very different. What was that culture shock like for you?
The biggest difference was just the pace of life there. I live in St. Pete where everything is fast, people moving. There is everything's slowed down. It's not a bunch going on. Only thing they really care about is the sports. Everybody very nice, relaxed. The biggest difference for me was realizing how blessed I was to live in Florida. I went to the beach with my family, but I never would go by myself. And being in Oregon just made me realize, man, I live in a place where people travel to vacation. So since I've been back home, I've really been taking advantage of, the beaches, walking at sunset, stuff like that. Because when I got out there, everybody was asking me, are you depressed? Season of depression. I'm like, I'm living my dream. I could give a damn about the weather. So
Yeah. So obviously coming in as a freshman, you were able to kind of make an impact right away. What was that adjustment like? Did you have like a welcome to college moment, or like what gave you the ability so early to like make an impact right away on the field?
I mean, personally, like even before I got there, my mindset has always been like wherever I go, I want to play early, and I want the team more than the coaches. I want my teammates to know like I'm gonna do what it takes to where you can trust me. If I do get on the field, I'm gonna do my job. If I'm supposed to be in the A gap, I'm gonna die in the A gap. So when I first got there, like there was a few other guys who was 5 stars starting to spring starting over me, but with the new coaching staff, everybody had equal opportunity. And I just took advantage in the spring, man. I was getting reps with the 2s, the 3s, and then one day Levitt threw me in with the 1s, and I just never looked back.
Was there what was the big learning or thing you had to take with you, or big adjustment from high school that you had to like work on to get ready to play like Pac-12 football right away?
I'll just say like the pace, pretty much. Like now we're in the Big Ten, so it's kind of like relaxed. But in the beginning, when I first got there, it was still Pac-12. Let's run, hurry up football. So it was like even my first practice, I remember we did like a period where to start practice where you do 5 plays in a row with it's all tempo. And that like kind of caught me off guard. Like, damn, you can't even walk back to the ball. You got to like jaw back. So that was the biggest difference for me. But after I got adjusted to that, man, it was pretty much just playing ball.
Yeah, I feel like you would have been probably a good fit for what Lanning's bringing in now in the Big Ten, huh?
Yeah, I look at their D-line now, and I'm like, this is how I wanted to play. Like, if I could have played, I mean, I got hurt when I went to the NFL, so I'm not saying that I couldn't have been good with what I did when I was in my time, but I think Lanning's defense would have highlighted what I do best, like playing blocks, knock back, and basically clogging up the middle, which is like what I did best when I was there.
Yeah. So obviously you commit to Taggart and Levitt, and then, as that season's going on a little bit, there starts to be like rumors about Taggart going back to FSU and that whole saga. Like, what do you remember about that as a player, just like going through that your first year with a staff that you committed to?
Yeah, man, it's crazy like looking back at it because there was no transfer portal. There's no outs. So I was out there and like Taggart brought a group of us. It was like 6 or 7 of us in the dorms. Like every day we on Twitter looking at the tea leaves. Like, is he really going to leave? And we arguing if he's not. And then when the news really broke that he was leaving, it was like, damn, now what? But I was like the guy in the class, like, I'm not leaving Oregon. I don't care who becomes the coach. Like, I'm not going to leave. I like it here. All the benefits. Obviously, this pre-NIL, so I really love the school. But I was telling the guys, like, listen, man, Taggart cool and all, but we had a good spot. Like, whoever gets the job going to be qualified. Rob Mullins did a good job, and once the news broke, all the linemen start pushing Cristobal, and I was behind that, so it was pretty easy for me.
What were you guys like surprised by that decision? Did you understand where he was coming from? Going back to a place that he had connections to. Like, was there resentment? Did people understand? What was kind of the vibe around that situation?
I mean, for most of us, it was like, man, you like brought us all out here, and then you just gonna leave, not even a full year after. But I mean, I guess I was being mature about it. I'm like, I guess understand, like, your dream job, you want to work in Florida, but I don't think there's a better job than Oregon in the country, especially now with NIL, like all the benefits and offers that benefits and extra things that come with being the Oregon head coach. Like, obviously, there's blue blood jobs like Texas and Georgia, Bama, all of that. But at the end of the day, man, you want to cement your own legacy and start something new. Oregon was the perfect place for Dan Lanning to do that.
Yeah. So obviously you mentioned like the O lineman pushing for Cristobal a little bit. I remember at first when Taggart left, there was kind of rumors about Coach Levitt and then Cristobal and then outside candidates. What was that? Give us like the player perspective of what that push was like for Cristobal and how that ultimately ended up.
So we really started one day in the team meeting. Before the meeting, the O-line was campaigning outside as we walking in, like, how about we just hire Cristobal? And they had us all sign a petition, basically. And from there, it was never a doubt. Like, I mean, I don't know who else was the candidate. They was talking about Kevin Sumlin, but I was like, there's no way we're going to let this dude from Alabama, been around for the championship run at Bama, out of the building. Like, if you hire Kevin Sumlin, there's no guarantee about the other coaches on the coaching staff. So I just knew, like, once the O-linemen started pushing it, and then I seen how many signatures was on there, I was like, yeah, we probably in good hands just going with Cristobal.
So even though he was just the O-line coach, like, you could tell, like, program-wide and, like, different positions, that was, like, the vibe that, like, you all trusted he could do the job.
Well, the reason I trust him, because I seen what kind of players he was bringing in, and I was like, he's been around Saban. He was there for championship run. And the players he was bringing in, like Panay, Big Steve, just the body types, I was like, this is what's going to help us win in the big picture. Like, most coaches maybe focus on the flashy positions, but I could tell, like, he was really focused on bringing in the best O-linemen. And if you look around college football right now, like, the teams with the best O-linemen are winning. So,
yeah. So, obviously, then Cristobal comes in, and you guys kind of build up. I want to talk a little about the 2019 season, which is obviously your last year, and a special season, I'm sure, for you guys and Duck fans as well. Like, what do you remember from that year, just going through everything you went through ultimately to end up with a season like that?
I mean, the season went, like, they started off with the Auburn game, heartbreaking loss, and then that kind of propelled us to, like, stay focused. And then when we lost to Arizona State, it was like, damn, we're not gonna make the playoffs. But we kind of rallied as a group and was like, as long as we stay together, we'll be able to make the most of this season. And the seniors pretty much, like, led us, like Troy Dye, Herbert, the O-line that was seniors that year. They kind of led us to, like, the playoffs ain't the end of the world. Obviously, we all wanted to go. We would have played against Joe Burrow that year, so that would have been crazy. But they kind of, like, refocused us to realize, like, the Rose Bowl is still a big deal, and it's a great game, man.
I was at that ASU game, so I definitely still think about that one.
I think about it every time I see the Bengals play and Joe Burrow out there. I'm like, we really would have been out there. Him, Justin Jefferson, and Chase. Like, the DBs we had, I'm not gonna say they would have locked them up, but it would have been a good matchup, I think.
No, your guys' your defense that year was legit.
Good.
I mean, this is the first year I think about where I'm like, our defense this year reminds me of that year's team. I mean, you guys were stacked that year. So it sounds like that loss, similar to me, still kind of haunts you a little bit?
Yeah, especially just thinking about, like the status of the team. Like, obviously, we were in the Rose Bowl. We only lost 2 games, but, like, if we would have went to the playoffs, and even if I think we might have had a chance to beat LSU. Obviously, they was a juggernaut, but if we would have been able to beat them, like, we would be legendary for real. So that was a big opportunity missed.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question about Herbert. How, obviously, like, has had tremendous success in the NFL, turning into a, A+ dude when it comes to that. His college career, like, a little bit up and down. Like, I feel like he has been better in the NFL than college, which is pretty crazy to say. What were, like, your thoughts on him going into turning a pro? Did you think he could turn into all that, like, from what you saw at Oregon? Or, like, how would you explain some of the struggles he had at Oregon and then turning into, like, an all-pro NFL guy?
I think the thing that I knew when I first got there, like, I'd never been around a true quarterback. Even in high school, my quarterback was a linebacker. So, like, that first practice, and I heard the ball go by my ear and it whistled, I was like, oh, it's different. And then, like, when we watched film with Levitt, he would be like, this is an NFL throw. And I would see the windows, and I'm like, yeah, this is, like, high-level quarterback. I think the problem was at Oregon, I love Mario, but the offense was conservative. We ran pistol, ran the ball a lot. And then we didn't have, like, top-flight receivers either. Not that he has them in the NFL either. I think that's probably, like, this year, part of the problem for the Chargers, the receivers is not great. They're not bad, but I think receivers play a big part in quarterbacks, like how he looks. In the best years he had Keenan Williams and what was it, Mike Williams and Keenan. I forgot Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, yeah.
So like when you got players like that and Herbert who can just put the ball anywhere he wants, basically teleport it, like you're automatically going to look better. So I just think the offense we played in Oregon during his time wasn't conducive to how he looks now.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. Before we move on to some current stuff and then some quick hitters, I just want to ask, what like highlights games stand out from your career when you think back to those 4 games? Are there like specific moments or games that stick in your mind?
Definitely the Rose Bowl, man. Like that week, all Coach Joe Salavea kept talking about is Jonathan Taylor. He's ran for over 100 yards versus every team he played this year. Like every day at practice, you could just hear Coach Joe screaming, "Jonathan Taylor gonna bust that for a touchdown. We better cover it up." So I think like that game stands out to me the most is because like that week, the DBs, the linebackers, like everybody was locked in on making sure we was in the right gap. And that was the only game he did play that he didn't rush for 100 yards that year.
Nice. I love it. How about the Washington game at home in OT?
Yeah, that one would probably be over the Rose Bowl because that was like one of the few games my mom came to. I had the 2 big stops on 4th and 1. They missed the field goal. We won the overtime. So, yeah, that one was huge too. I mean, we lost to Stanford, but that was like one of my best games I ever played. Like when we played Stanford at home on College Game Day.
Yeah.
Versus Bryce Love, like that was a good game too. I
was in the end zone for that Washington game, and that kick was just coming right at us, and you started to see it hook. And I could barely watch.
Yeah, right before the snap though, Justin Hollins, he was like, he gonna miss the kick. He gonna miss the kick. I know it. I'm like, I hope he do. He did. So
that was awesome. So like I mentioned at the top, I know you're coming into Eugene this weekend. How closely are you still following the team, and like what do you see from this year's squad that stands out to you?
I mean, I'm a proud alumni of Oregon, man. I love my school. People in my city be like hating on me because I love my school. Like I'm not gonna turn my back on my school. Like even like we lost to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, I was like, yeah, we lost, but we only lost 1 game the whole year, so it is what it is. But I think this team, what's different from that one is the D-line. The D-line is like actually the front 7. The whole defense, because the back end, the Finney guy, the other corners, like we can actually cover people. Like no, not saying we couldn't last year, but this year, like I believe in us on the island versus Jamar Smith and DeLemon and Jacoby Lane, like those players that like big time names at receiver, I think we could cover them up. So the biggest thing I see that, and then obviously the O-line is dominant. Coach Terry for president. And I do think Dante Moore has another layer to the offense. I mean, last year we didn't really go under center much. And like with an O-line like that, going under center gives them the edge. So I think that's the biggest difference. And hopefully, like when we play big games, we can use that to our advantage.
Yep. I think that's a great point. As a proud alum, as you mentioned, like how special has it been to see a coach like Dan after some different coaching turnover who's like so bought in to staying at Oregon and just like proud to be there and wants to make it home?
This makes me like I wish I could get a time machine and run through a wall for him in my time, man. Like, dude, I can tell the dude really loves the atmosphere in Oregon. I heard he got his own restaurant. Like, he seems like he's got his family rooted there. And then like when he talks about the program and like the standard and the players and like it just seemed like he more committed to being there long term than the coaches before, for sure.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, I want to just get to a couple quick hitters, which are some of our fan favorite questions. So I know you mentioned uniforms were one of the reasons you always loved Oregon growing up. What was your favorite uniform you wore in your time at Oregon?
My favorite I wore. Stump Out Cancer versus Nebraska.
Yeah, all white.
But the one that pulled me in was Mariota versus Arizona or Arizona State in the pink. That's the one that made me really want to go.
Did they ever wear the pink when you were there?
No, so I was on the leadership council and I got Kenny to put it in, but they didn't wear it till the year after I left.
Dang.
Yeah, so he got he hooked me up with the jersey though. I'm gonna get it framed. When I go up there, I'm gonna talk to him about getting some of my jersey framed. I'm about to start my man cave. So
I love it. I love it. What was the most hyped locker room post game that you can ever remember?
when we beat USC in the championship game, we like threw a real party. That was probably the hardest we ever went in the locker room because we knew theirs was right next to us. So when we played music, they could hear it, and we was going crazy in the locker room. Like we shot it. It was like a music video
We need some of that this weekend.
for sure.
Best player you ever played against in college?
I mean, this dude didn't really go nowhere, but in college, Khalil Tate was the truth, man. He diced us up that year. Khalil Tate was the truth. Like Bryce Love was good. Jake Browning was good in college too, but I'm telling you, Khalil Tate, that year we played against him, he was on the Heisman ballot.
I'm surprised he didn't make it in the NFL as like a gadget guy or something.
Yeah, like a running back or something. Like give him the ball in space.
Yeah, yeah. All right, two more here. What was the loudest stadium you played in beyond Autzen?
Utah. It was like Utah and Arizona State. It's like the fans on the field, like. But the stadium's not huge, and it's not even like a closed-in space. It's just like they all on top of you. And yeah, Utah. I'll never forget that. My first time going to Utah, they had the who was that quarterback? Snoop Huntley.
Yeah, I feel like Utah's environment doesn't get enough respect.
Yeah, the Pac-12. Well, RIP the Pac-12 never got enough respect.
All right, last one. Is there a coach or teammate that like had a lasting impact on your life or career?
Yeah, I mean, it's a few coaches. Me and Kenny and DeVell. You probably don't know DeVell, but DeVell's like a support staff when I was there. So when I first got there, like my mom and dad didn't come with me. It was just me. They didn't come until like Thanksgiving that year. So DeVell like picked me up from the airport, took me to the apartments, and then we went to the store and all that. And since then, like we've been locked in. Like I was just talking to him yesterday. And then Kenny Farr, man, that's my dude. Kenny Farr is my dude. Like I used to go like before the workouts, I would go get ready early and then go sit in his office and just chop it up about like all the players he met, the connects he got, and like the shoes in his office. And he would show me all the jerseys, and I'd be like, man, like you've been here for the long haul, bro. And he's still there. So
Still doing it. Before we get out of here, I know you're rocking your old high school shirt there. Give Duck fans a shout while you're wearing that over your Oregon stuff.
well, the real reason I would have had on Oregon stuff, but I didn't know if it was gonna do it. I didn't have the link, but I was just inducted to my high school Hall of Fame like 2 weeks ago, so they gave me the shirt, so I'm rocking it right now. But I definitely would have had on Oregon gear if I could have.
No, that's awesome, man. Congrats. I think Duck fans will be excited to hear that. Before we go, I know you're coming to Eugene this weekend. What's your prediction for what we see on Saturday?
It depends. Like I'm trying to figure out what the weather gonna be like, because that's gonna determine.
It's gonna be sunny. It looks like dry.
Oh yeah, well I like us big, probably like 38-21. That's too many points for them, but they got good players. So, but I think our offense. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think their receivers will get some. I mean, those guys are NFL dudes.
Yeah, but I think our offense will pick up, especially if we get DeCorian Moore back. Like I'm sure Will Stein will have some plays dialed up for him, but if not, even with just Sadiq and the rest of those guys, McCullen, Benson, I think we should be able to at least get 35.
Yeah.
And maybe a pick six. I don't trust Mavia.
I think if you can get him under pressure, he'll give you a couple if you can make plays on him.
Yeah, and I think this is the first game we played in a while where the offense is actually like gonna hold the ball a little bit longer, which will give Mateo and Tulioti some time to get to the quarterback.
Yep, right there with you. Well, hey, man, appreciate you joining us today. I know Duck fans will be excited to see you back in town this weekend, so hopefully some can come hit you up. I assume you'll be down around before the game and stuff. So thanks for joining. Been super cool to hear from you.
Yeah. My question for you before we go, who's your favorite player on the team this year? Not Dante Moore. You can't say him.
I mean, I'm biased because I went to the same high school as him and grew up a Eugene boy, but like I think Bryce just like represents everything that Oregon is about, and he just like has that like hometown spirit that a bunch of us grew up with, and so that one's kind of special for me.
Yeah, I like him too. I feel like he would have been like my Troy Dye if I played with him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities just in the way like he leads the team. People talk about him. He's like that dude to, hold people accountable, get people up, stuff like that.
Yeah, I like Noah Whittington and Darius Washington.
All those freaking running backs are so fun to watch. So
yeah,
I think
for sure.
That's the way to win this weekend.
Yeah, run right at him. But I think Noah gets a little bit doesn't get the credit he deserves just because he's a little older. And then Darius Washington is a freak.
Yep.
Like I watch the games and then I watch him, like I'll be like, damn.
You right alongside him and Bear would have been a nice little combo.
Oh man. Yeah, that would have been nice. That dude, Bear, I like Bear too. I think Bear's good too. I think Ardarius could just catch my eye because he plays how I played.
I think Bear will have some plenty of motivation this weekend going against his former team. So hopefully he can cause a little havoc.
For sure.
All right, Jordan. Well, appreciate you joining us today on the Ducks Rising podcast. Thanks for all the listeners out there for joining us today, and we will see you next week.
Let's go.